Hi guys, I'm Shmi and today I'm back in Los Angeles. There are going to be two things I'm doing today. The first is visiting BBI Autosport, which is where I am right now. You can see there are quite a lot of rather nice Porsches behind me. They are a specialist in working with Porsches and there are some pretty cool cars around that I'm going to show you. The second part is that I'm going to take the itswhitenoise Porsche Cayman GT4 out for a quick drive. So rather similar to my GT4 back home, of course, except left-hand drive, and with a couple of modifications that have been done here at BBI. So we'll take a look around, have a look at the cars out here, some of the stuff in the workshop, and then go out afterwards in the GT4. Let's get started out here then. There are some pretty cool project cars to take a sneak peek at. Now I obviously don't know too much about the older Porsches. I kind of say that all the time because there are just a few too many models to know everything about for me. I do, however, know a lot about the new ones, like the 991 GT3 RS. Now, something for a bit of a backstory. If you don't know, in the US, you can't get a car with a roll cage. So you can't get an RS with a roll cage. You can't get a 675 LT with a roll cage, this kind of thing. So if you want one, you need to come to a company like BBI, who build a custom half cage that can be installed, just like this car has in the rear. This is all done by the guys here and installed into the back of the car. So that works pretty well. So that's a customer car that they have worked on, and I'm sure they have a lot of new GT3 RSs that will be coming through for various bits and bobs in the near future. That thing just looks pretty cool, really wide back. Somebody out there needs to tell me what it is. Take a quick look up here at some of the other cars, all sort of project cars, things that are going to be done and turned into absolute machines. That looks pretty menacing. Now this GT2, this is a pretty special GT2. It's making 1100 horsepower. Had an engine swap for a twin turbocharged GT3 engine. Oh, it is an active workshop, so excuse the noise. This door, carbon fibre. The whole car basically is carbon fibre, under tray, everything, and this basically weighs absolutely nothing. Kind of hard to explain, but it weighs nothing. It's got a full cage, proper race setup in here, and this very car has done 236 miles per hour, even carbon wheels, just to show you that. That's pretty cool. So 236 miles per hour out of that car, which is, quite frankly, absolutely nuts. Right, let's head on inside into the workshop. And the first car here is the GT4. So I'll go over this in a little bit more detail later on. It's running a new suspension setup, Vossen wheels, and a slight ECU remap, so a little bit more power out of the car as well. So looking forward to taking it for a drive, see if I can feel anything different. Well, in any case, just driving it. It's got the bucket seats, which my car doesn't, so that will be fun anyway. The 918 style bucket seats made for the car. So let's take a look. What else do we have going on here? Up here we've got, well, one of the 918 edition 911 Turbo S's, so only sold to 918 customers. And this is actually getting a 4-litre engine swap. So it's making 830 horsepower, like 830 horsepower, but from the outside still looks normal, so it's a bit of a sleeper. Kind of cool. It's got a new lens suspension as well. Keep heading through. All the engine stuff happens at the back. I'm actually going to sneak through to the back room. Something I want to show you back in here. This engine in front of me, this is a 1,600 horsepower engine for a 911. 1,600 horsepower. So that's built obviously for top speed records, quarter mile, half mile, that kind of thing. And I'll whiz now over to the showroom quickly and show you the normal donor car for this. In here then, a couple of cars to look at. The first is a very, very clean GT3, less than 10,000 miles on that car. Sick GT3. Next to that, we've got 6 GT2. Now this GT2 is particularly cool in that it's had a custom suspension setup installed that you can see through the rear window. So it's kind of like being able to see the tourbillon mechanism in a watch. You can see the suspension mechanism in the car, but it's of course fully functional. And it just looks awesome poking through there in the rear window. This is the car that's normally the donor, well, is the donor car for that engine we were just taking a peek at. So runs with 1,600 horsepower, which is just kind of crazy. King Kong. It's quite fun. And then this is a Turbo S. It's going to look like a bit of a sleeper. It's going to be kept sort of simple from the exterior, but it's going to run some big power as well. That 4-litre engine swap, maybe 830 or so horsepower. So that's pretty awesome. Let's take a look properly then at this car, and firstly I'm going to quickly explain its white noise. So if you followed my adventures on Gumball last year, you'll know that on the US leg from Reno to Los Angeles, or Reno to San Francisco to Los Angeles and into Las Vegas, I joined Elizabeth from its white noise in their Porsche 918 Spyder, and that was obviously absolutely awesome, a lot of fun. I then caught up with the guys again at Le Mans 24 Hour when I was down there with Corvette. And then after that, I met up with them in Monaco. So you might remember the Carrera RS 1970s that was down there that I drove with Seb later on, but enjoyed a lot. That was parked sort of in the garage alongside my FF for a while and the LT, and they joined us for some drives. So good friends, and they have a very lovely Porsche collection, which of course includes this car and another car you're going to see slightly later on today, a Boxster Spyder. So the GT4, you know the normal car, 385 PS, 6-speed manual gearbox. I've shown you mine many a time. This one, well, firstly running on the Vossen wheels, which I think look really good. They fit the car very, very nicely. And the slight tune, but the big difference is, well, for me, is the bucket seats, which came out of the 918 and are truly, truly brilliant. Bit hardcore for everyday driving, which is why I don't have them. But looking forward to taking this out and giving it a go. And just for fun, it's got a Nürburgring sticker right here because they took the GT4 to the ring with their GT3 RS when they collected them. European delivery took them straight over there, so that's pretty cool. So it's white noise, every platform you could imagine, Instagram, Snapchat, loads of event coverage from around the world on Snapchat, which is really cool, and Instagram as well, so check them out. I'll pop their links right down below. For the time being, I'm going to jump in though and take this for a little drive. Okay then, driving a left-hand drive manual car, which is always interesting obviously, because for me, the gear stick is on the wrong side. Now, the first GT4 I actually drove was this way around. I had a quick test drive in one. I didn't actually make a video with it at the time because it was all very rushed, but that was back when I ordered mine, so right back in spring, early in the year. But I'm hoping I won't be completely retarded and I'll do a good job with it. So gear stick on the right, 6 gears of course. Now something a lot of people actually ask me, now it's perhaps quite obvious, but I get asked it all the time, is whether in the UK the pedals are the same way around and the gear stick is the same way around. So just like left-hand drive cars, right-hand drive cars, first is up to the left, second, and then 6th or 7th is to the right, down to the bottom, and down the pedals, clutch is on the left, brake, accelerator on the right. So that is exactly the same wherever you drive a car. I think some people think it's backwards, but it's not. You're just sat in a different place. So I don't seem to be doing a wonderful job getting out of this junction at this stage, but hopefully we will get there eventually. Just please excuse the tyre message, that just needs a reconfiguration on the tyre pressure monitoring. No issues with it, just needs to be sorted out. Needless to say, I'm looking forward to pulling out right now in the GT4. Right, let's go. Let's go up to second. Yeah, did the first gear right, I'm fine. No problems. That's very nice of its white noise, of course, to let me take this for a drive. Never ever going to complain about getting behind the wheel of a GT4 because it is such a spectacular car. This thing has won an awful lot of awards. It's car of the year pretty much anywhere you look, and it's just spectacularly good fun. And obviously it has the auto blipping, so when you downshift straight into some lovely sounds first. Away we roll. This car has a stock exhaust. It's actually kind of interesting for me to drive one with the stock exhaust, of course, because mine has the IPE system and all the Martini livery and stickers and things as well, so it's a little bit different, and it's certainly substantially more muted. But I mean, I'm driving without the exhaust open right now, so I should probably fix that and experience it a little bit more. There we go. That's better. That's more like the pops and crackles. It's still a lot quieter than mine is, but it does sound good. It does sound very good. yeah, so the GT4, I mean the Boxster Spyder later is a very similar car to the GT4, and I'll talk a lot more about that obviously when I'm out in it. But I do love these things, so I'm so pleased I've got one at home. I'm very lucky, very, very lucky. Right, put a bit of space. Somebody just running across the road there. I had to take a moment to think. It's a bit like, what's going on? Why is somebody running across a 6-lane road? Gosh, a little bit reckless. Yeah, so all is good, all is lovely. I always find it rather fascinating driving in America because you have these massive, massive junctions with, you know, many lanes in each direction, 6 lanes in each direction, all over the place. So you have to wait ages before you go. And then on the flip side, you also have sort of intersections with stop signs, 4-way stops, where even if it's completely clear, you don't have a sort of main road that has priority. You always have to wait. Everybody has to come to a stop, so it can take a long time to get down back roads. So although everything's straight, which is efficient versus our very tight, twisty stuff in Europe, it can take a long time to get anywhere because you're spending a lot of your life sitting at an intersection, or a junction, as we would call it. But eventually I'll be able to go, which will be good times. BBI also doing a couple more modifications to this car, so it will get a half cage in the back, a bit like the GT3 RS, custom built at BBI. And it's also going to get some new wing struts, so the wing will be repositioned, which will look pretty cool as well, a bit like the GT3 RS. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. Always sounds so nice. Flat 6 from the Carrera S in the GT4. Such a good engine note. Naturally aspirated, so it's interesting because the new Boxsters and the new Caymans have this new turbocharged flat 4 engine. I'm looking forward to driving that, the 718 Boxster, seeing how that is in person. But I love that so much. Downshifting through the gears sounds so good. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing this car as well when it's completed. But really cool of them to let me take it for a drive. I think I'm going to swing back round towards BBI now. Okay, people, let's go. It's just pure smiles when you're driving this car. You can't be driving a GT4 and not love it. It's just awesome. Anybody who's driven mine back at home has got out of it and said, I want one. That's like a completely normal response to driving the GT4. And you can see why. I mean, I obviously haven't driven mine for a couple of weeks. I've been in America for a couple of weeks, and I only had like 2 nights at home. Before that, I was in Dubai for a couple of weeks. So I've barely got much usage out of mine recently at all. And I can't wait to take it back to some proper roads and some fun stuff and just enjoy the thing how it was meant to be. That's exactly what this car is for. Back at BBI then, a lovely little drive in the It's White Noise GT4. Can't wait to see how this looks when all of the other modifications have been made as well. I think it's going to be pretty cool with the extra sort of height to the wing and of course the half cage on the interior. But now I'm going to head off. I've actually got to go and check into where I'm staying while I'm here in Los Angeles, and then later on I'll pick up the Boxster Spyder, so you'll probably catch up with me there. As I said then, it is now the evening, and how is this for a way to wrap it up? The Boxster Spyder, the It's White Noise Boxster Spyder that I've just been learning how to put the roof up on. So it's not the easiest process in the world, and I'm going to show that when I do a full review with the car. You have to sort of manually release these rear parts, then lift the lid and fold it in. It's not too hard. But I've just driven the car first couple of miles to here, Santa Monica, and obviously it's very dark, so I apologise for that. Maybe if I give some camera light you can see a little bit more. But the Boxster Spyder, 375 PS, similar sort of setup to the GT4, the 6-speed manual gearbox, the engine from the 911 Carrera S, and this time with the roof down, which is added fun over GT4. Albeit ever so slightly less powerful. I noticed there are a couple of differences between the two cars though, so I will talk you through those when I show the car in more detail. But of course, this is another of the It's White Noise fleet. So make sure you head over and give a follow to It's White Noise. Big thanks for allowing me to be driving this car, the Porsche Boxster. Hey, look, Panamera. The Porsche Boxster Spyder. There are not exactly many of these around the world, and I'm very much looking forward to driving it in the coming days around Los Angeles. and obviously shooting some videos on some pretty cool roads. So yes, there we go. A good day visiting BBI, driving the GT4, and finishing up driving the Boxster Spyder as well. So I'm going to actually go head over and get some dinner now, but I'll wrap up the video. Make sure you're subscribed, check it out, because there's going to be more with this, and plenty more with some pretty special places I'm visiting in the coming days around Los Angeles. If you haven't already seen on my own Instagram, some pretty cool pictures there to go over and take a look at. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.
This is the moment. This is the LaFerrari. Let's pull the paddle, pop it into gear.
The touch panel to open it up. Firstly, all of the body panels on the car, except for the doors,